Hey Ted, this is Elliot doing a review of the first golf lesson that we had together this morning. First lesson we've ever, you and I have ever done, and I think we definitely made some great strides. The video on the left here is kind of your before swing, the swing you came here with, and the one on the right is after we made a few adjustments. Especially we focused on controlling the club face a little bit better. I guess this is both these clubs are 7-irons, and coming into me today, you said you struggle making consistent contact, hit behind the ball a lot, and when you did make solid contact, you tended to lose the ball to the right. The first thing we really addressed, and kind of a tough view to see it, but we'll look at a different view a little bit. And this little address change did change your setup a little bit. We talked about the golf ball being too far forward. You can see in the video on the right, we set this club here just as kind of a monitoring point, so you could tell that where your ball was. And again, we set it to be forward to center. We use that pocket on your shirt, and we wanted to line it with the seam nearest your sternum. The yellow line on either screen is a plane line. I know you saw Turner's video, and we drew that actually through his right shoulder at the top of the swing. We called that the turn shoulder plane. You appear to be, so far, more of an elbow planer, so we basically drew this line from the golf ball up through your right elbow at your address position. So anyway, after changing your ball position, moving a little further back in your stance, you can see your shoulders are more in line with your feet. We can see maybe a hint of your chest in the backswing, where over here, again, the right shoulder gets kind of high, kind of blocks out your chest. Players in that position tend to swing over the top of that plane line, which we'll look at this swing on the left here first, and we can see here's kind of the backswing you came with. Not necessarily in terms of your arm position, a pretty conventional, pretty decent looking position. You made a good turn away, and then into the downswing again. We'll see one where the club gets way outside that yellow line. The club face here, you can see, is pointing way out here to the right somewhere. That's an open club face. That's what we talked a lot about. And we cut across the ball. And if we would have hit it solid, it would have gone right, because we, kind of flipped that a little bit with our hands, hit it off the heel. It didn't go in the air. But so that's the swing we came here with. The first adjustment we made to it is in your takeaway. We talked about maintaining the distance with the butt of the club from your right leg. So we can see here, it gets maybe just a little bit further away from you. And as we adjusted that takeaway, and again, the camera angles aren't perfect, so some of the differences we see are a little bit exaggerated, but nonetheless, there's definitely a difference here. There you kind of drug, like we said, you drug the club more along your right leg, and we see a very different look there. A little different takeaway. As we swing back to the top of your swing, the swing on the left, which was the first swing we made, we said the club face tended about in here a little bit to get slightly open. You'll notice sorry about that. We don't see any of the grooves on the face a little bit, and for a player like you that struggles hitting the ball right, we like to apply that Brian Manzella term, which is twist away. So we said, show the grooves of the face show the camera, the grooves on the face. So what we did over here on the right is, and we lose it off the screen a little bit, but definitely in this position, we can see the grooves on the face. You've done that twist away move. If you were checking back at your glove, that little drill we did, you'd be looking down the Velcro rather than seeing the logo of your glove. Again, we want the camera to see the logo of the glove, which it does here, and we want the camera to see the grooves on the face, which we do there. So as we get to the top of the backswing, again, because you're more comfortable with this club face, we're hitting solider shots, you got more comfortable, made a little bigger swing, but just very, very good top of the backswing position. The angle of the club face matches the angle of your left wrist perfectly, and I think, again, that's a pretty substantial, pretty impressive improvement that you made just from getting a little more confidence because the club was more square. So on the downswing, we essentially talked about turning that club face down towards the ball. Again, if we'll just take a quick look at the picture on the left, or the video on the left again, we saw the club face, got very open. There it's, pointing way right. As a result of that, you learn to basically swing over the top of that line to try to somehow balance the ball out and hit it where you're looking to hit, towards the target or where you're looking. On the right, you're going to notice that because you started to turn the club face towards the ball, started to square the club face early in the downswing, that the path of your club drastically changed. And again, like I said, these camera angles aren't perfect, but you're definitely going to see a huge difference. Here we see a little bit more of the grooves in the face. They're starting to turn down towards the ball, and you'll notice how you actually, put the club basically right on that elbow plane line. And it's actually going to get slightly below it, and that's why we saw some draws or some right to left shots out of you during your lesson. But if we get it to about the same position, we can see, how much, I guess, more turn towards the ball or starting to square the club face is. Again, this is kind of toe up, face way right. This is more, starting to turn the toe down. Let's rewind this back up. And then from here, again, we saw the ball not go so well. Notice if we look at the club face, it's not doing a whole lot of rotation during that next part. And we got kind of a finish where, your right heel not quite off the ground, your weight's caught on that back foot. Again, players a lot of times find that if they struggle squaring the club face, they hang their weight back, and they have a lot better chance to square the club face from, weight back. What we're going to notice in kind of your after swing is as you got more comfortable with the club face, you got more confident. Here we'll see the club face rotate down very well, very square club face. The ball starts right where you're looking, and it exits on the through swing. We can see that the toes started to turn in a different direction. We'll see how that looks different then. And they're actually pretty close there, so not a huge difference. The club did a better job of exiting your body, or when we can see it again, being on plane rather than here on the left, it's slightly below, again, a sign of cutting across the ball. But you're doing a good job in this one because, the face turns square, you hit ball first, you get through to a full finish where we see a much better job of getting your heel off the ground, and, your weight's much further forward. And again, all that happened just because we talked about controlling the club face a little better. On the forward swing, if you remember, we slid that credit card in your glove, and we had you practice basically rotating your entire forearm, which includes your wrist, of your left hand to keep that edge of the credit card off your left arm. And if we kept rotating here, it still wouldn't be on your left arm. You make a great forward swing, and right in here somewhere, that card would finally hit your left arm. But very solid, draw shot there. And again, without even addressing path or plane, with only addressing club face, we can see how different a position, you basically learn to put the club in because you had an awareness of that club face, and we're doing a much better job controlling it. We're gonna flip swings for just a second and look at a couple of face on. And again, video on the left here is kind of our before face on. And we'll see again ball a little further forward maybe than we'd like to see it with a 7-iron. But as you begin to rotate better, you can actually hit it from that position. Backswing again, we're real short, face kind of open. We see the toe of the club is pointing essentially down, towards the target as the club face more closed, you'll notice in the second swing it's pointing more towards the camera. So if we fire that second swing up, again, we see that the toe of the club is coming a little bit back towards the camera a little more. Much different left wrist position here. Again, you're showing the logo of the glove to me standing behind, where in the video on the left we can definitely see the logo glove on the camera. Very different backswing position for, other than, you know, kind of your left wrist alignment, us not talking about a whole lot. Much more coiled, using your whole body to essentially hit the shot here. If we scroll through on the forward swing, again, we see a lot of grooves on the face, which means the club's not rotating. We see a lot of logo of the glove, which means the club's not rotating. They're very open, and as a result, and you see the face close hard like that because you hit the ball on the heel. That's not any rotation involved. That's just from off-center hit. But again, here, very open club. As a result, you know, trying to help it square it, your weight hangs back. You can see, you know, kind of your whole body back on that back foot. And we get through to a finish where, even though our heel starts to creep up, kind of a lot of backwards lean, and we never get super far forward. On the right, just because you're more comfortable with the club face, you don't have to worry about trying to square it last second. We get a gradual squaring of the club. Again, the logo is still kind of away from the camera, so we got some bow on that wrist. Here we see it start to square and turn towards the camera, and then from here forward, it's starting to turn back towards the target, which means, you know, we're gonna hit a relatively straight shot because we got that back of the left hand moving towards the target. Pretty different position than, say, right here, where again, if we use kind of this black on your glove as a reference point, we see a lot more of the black there because the knuckles haven't turned down, where here it's starting to hide, which is a very good sign. Through to that finish, and notice how different, again, the left arm starts to rotate a little bit. We start to see that knuckles up finish we talked about, where you got the club face going towards the target, the knuckles towards the sky, the back of your left hand towards the target, and you're just in a much fuller, much more comfortable finish. You can see, again, you're posted on that left leg. We can draw a straight line from your heel up through your chin, where here we got that little bit of backwards lean because you hung back on your foot. So you did a great job today. Huge improvements, I think, in an hour lesson. I think the ball told you the huge improvements. We went from topping a lot, or hitting the ground behind the ball a lot, and when we hit it solid, hitting it to the right, to hitting the ground before the ball a little bit less, and when we hit it solid, seeing some nice tight draws that went definitely much, much further. So great work today. I look forward to working with you in the future again, and I hope you enjoyed yourself, because towards the end there you hit some really, really solid golf shots. Thanks, Ted.